Once the face of AEW's women's division, Britt Baker has gone radio silent. No entrances, no promos, no feuds, just a slow, eerie fade from the spotlight, and fans are starting to notice. Where is she? Why has she been absent for so long? And more importantly, did AEW just bury its own golden girl? This isn't just about a missing superstar, it's about a former champion who once carried the division, suddenly vanishing while whispers behind the scenes grow louder and messier by the week. What's really going on here? Let's rewind for a second. Britt Baker's last real televised match came back in November 2023, when she picked up a win over Penelope Ford. That alone didn't seem unusual until we got a stare down between Baker and Serena Deeb, a setup that had fans buzzing, a technical dream feud in the making, right? But then, nothing. The story was dropped without explanation. Weeks passed, then months, and Britt Baker, AEW's once prized superstar, was nowhere to be found. No injury announcement, no creative direction, no backstage promo to at least explain her absence, just silence. Fans speculated that maybe she was still recovering from medical issues. After all, earlier that year, she'd returned at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view after a hiatus, reportedly due to health reasons. But something about this second vanishing act felt different, less like a break, more like a blacklisting, especially when reports started surfacing that Britt wasn't just absent, she was being actively kept off TV, and that's when the drama started to unravel. Behind the curtain, rumors exploded. According to insiders, Britt Baker had become increasingly unpopular in the AEW locker room. One incident, in particular, kept popping up, a confrontation with none other than MJF. The story goes that Britt had spoken negatively about him to other talents backstage. Word got back to MJF, and let's just say things didn't end with a friendly chat. While both sides never publicly addressed the issue, the tension backstage was reportedly undeniable. And it didn't stop there. Wade Keller, a respected voice in wrestling media, dropped a bombshell. Britt Baker was frustrated. AEW leadership was frustrated. Everyone, it seemed, had grown tired of the dynamic. She wasn't being used. She wasn't being booked. She wasn't even being discussed in creative meetings anymore. And that, according to many, had less to do with injuries or her relationship with Adam Cole, and more to do with something worse. Tony Khan had simply given up on her. Let that sink in. The woman who helped build the AEW women's division from the ground up, the woman who delivered epic promos from dental chairs and became a pandemic-era standout, was now just another name on a dusty contract, forgotten, replaced, and quietly pushed to the margins. This wasn't a one-off either. AEW has a pattern. Think about Malachi Black, Miro, Ricky Starks, Ray Phoenix, talented, charismatic performers who were left to rot in the background with no real direction. One by one, many of those names found their way out, and most of them didn't hesitate to cross over to WWE. Britt Baker, whether she knows it or not, is standing at that same exact fork in the road, and time is ticking. The truth is, AEW has a problem with follow-through. They build up stars, give them big moments, and then let them vanish when creative stagnates. Britt was once AEW's most valuable female asset, not just because of her mic skills or her title reign, but because she was believable, she connected, she made fans care. Now, that same superstar is sitting at home while the company reshuffles the deck around newcomers and fresher faces. Meanwhile, Tony Khan, reportedly frustrated with Britt's attitude, is making it clear no return is planned, no storyline is brewing, and no spotlight is waiting. And that's a shame, because love her or hate her, Britt Baker was the AEW women's division for years. She wasn't just the face, she was the voice, the presence, the drama, the unpredictability. Her championship reign wasn't perfect, sure, but it mattered. And right now, with AEW trying to find consistency in a division that's constantly in flux, not using Britt is like taking your queen off the chessboard before the game's even started. So now we have to ask the uncomfortable question, is it over? Is Britt Baker done with AEW for good? Sources close to the situation suggest that her contract still has time left, but AEW has no intention of using her. That leaves Britt in limbo. She's being paid, but she's not performing. And for someone like Britt, that's not just frustrating, it's soul-crushing. Because here's the thing, Britt Baker didn't become a wrestler for the money. She has money. She's a licensed dentist. She makes more outside the ring than some of her peers do inside it. But wrestling isn't about the paycheck for her. It's about passion. performance, legacy. And that brings us to WWE, the forbidden thought, the ultimate move, the reset button. Let's be real, Britt Baker would fit perfectly in WWE. Say what you want about Vince era booking, but WWE today, under Triple H's influence, is a lot more character-driven, a lot more promo-based, and a lot more open to repackaging strong personalities. And Britt Baker? She lives for the mic. She thrives on character. She's already media-trained, mainstream-ready, and knows how to turn heads in and out of the ring. Would WWE be interested? Absolutely. In fact, you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone in the company who wouldn't at least want to test the waters with her. She checks all the boxes: presentation, charisma, merch potential, and let's not forget, WWE has shown increasing interest in AEW talent recently. From Cody Rhodes to Jade Cargill to Brian Pillman Jr., they're watching, and they know who Britt is. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, her dental practice. The number one thing fans ask is, how could she balance that with WWE's schedule? But guess what, she already is. Britt has publicly spoken about restructuring her practice to focus on a more selective clientele. She's not doing checkups for walk-ins. She runs things on her terms, and WWE's schedule, especially for someone not doing house shows every week, is way more flexible than it used to be. A couple TV tapings, one premium live event a month, some media obligations. That's manageable, especially for someone as disciplined and calculated as Britt. So what's stopping her? If AEW won't use her, and WWE could give her a fresh start, why not pull the trigger? That's the real dilemma. Does Britt Baker wait out her AEW contract, hoping things change? Does she request a release and risk burning bridges? Or does she step away entirely, maybe even consider retirement from wrestling altogether? That last option might sound dramatic, but when you take a step back, you realize how plausible it really is. Britt has nothing left to prove. She helped build a company. She became a champion. She was the star of AEW's most critical years. If she walked away tomorrow, her legacy is intact. But deep down, you get the sense she's not ready for that. Not yet. There's more in the tank, more to say, more to do. But it's not going to happen under Tony Khan's leadership. That door, for now, looks sealed shut. This whole situation raises a much bigger question about AEW as a company. What happens when you start alienating the very stars who made you? When you forget the ones who carried the brand during its toughest chapters? If Britt Baker truly walks, what message does that send to the locker room? To the fans? To the next generation of women who thought AEW would be different? So here we are, Britt Baker, on the sidelines. No match, no feud, no future, at least, not in AEW. But maybe, just maybe, the next chapter hasn't been written yet. Maybe the dentist has one last extraction to perform, pulling herself out of AEW and into something brand new. Let me ask you this, do you think Britt Baker's AEW run is truly over? Should she push for WWE, or stay loyal to a company that seems to have moved on without her? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear it all. And hey, don't forget to hit that like button if you found this breakdown interesting. We've got more drama, more wrestling chaos, and more truth bombs coming soon. Thanks for watching.